You look fantastic.
Thank you.
How tall a guy are you?
6'3".
6'3"?
Yeah.
And how much do you weigh?
Not sure. I've been on a pretty strict vegan diet for the last 3 months.
Well, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
And, yeah, vegan means no cooked food. Is that what it means?
Well, not necessarily not cooked. I've been on basically plant-based diet.
Plant-based diet. So you would be eating the post-honey crunch basket of...
Not unless they're whole wheat post crunch
That's what they are.
bunny.
Sure, that's exactly what they are.
No, I've been eating mostly oatmeal for breakfast.
For breakfast?
Yeah,
sure.
mango, banana, blueberries, dry oatmeal.
What do you do? You miss anything
oat milk.
on the diet?
Do I miss anything?
Yeah.
Man, meat.
Yeah. I'd like a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Not a minute of the day that I wish
Yeah.
I didn't have a cheeseburger.
Yeah, when I see the word chicken, I always think of how would I like to have it if I was going to have it.
I tell you, there's a place in Texas that every now and then sends in barbecued brisket.
Oh!
I know. I know. It's unbelievable.
That's one of my favorite things.
It's fantastic.
It's one of the things that when I was in Baton Rouge shooting a film, Whole Foods actually sells barbecue brisket.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And it just smells up the whole store. It's, you just gravitate to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an omnivore, which I believe humans are, well, go crazy. Barbecue everything and eat it. Now, you have a different hat on tonight.
Yes.
Because it's a little
cold.
chilly?
It's very cold here. I've been in Germany since August, and not this cold.
What were you doing in Germany?
I was shooting a film called The Big Game, another one of those President in Jeopardy films. Seems like, you know, all the presidents now seem to be black. Me, Morgan, Jamie. So, the one that's actually the president.
I never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
And we're always in jeopardy. What's that about?
But is that where you got hurt?
Yes, that's where I separated my shoulder.
What does that mean exactly? Anatomically, what does it mean?
Anatomically, what happened is I was flipped from a height of about 7 feet out of a freezer, which is supposedly attached to a helicopter flying through some woods. And they had a camera on one end of the freezer, I was in the other end, and the stuntman jumped off the freezer, the camera flipped the freezer, I went flying out of it, and I landed on my shoulder. And when I landed on my shoulder, the ligaments that hold your clavicle down snapped, and my clavicle jumped up. So now my shoulder looks like that.
Right there. But now, what will they do to the... What will they do to fix that? Is it fixed?
Actually, it's a class 3 separation. Quarterbacks have it a lot, and baseball players, and they can push it down, screw it in, and do all this other stuff to it, but it'll take me 6 months to heal, as opposed to it's now just ugly. And they said the surgery is basically cosmetic, and I'll have more trouble with the shoulder if they put screws in it and everything else than leaving it this way.
So do you have limited mobility with your shoulder now?
No, actually, I've been going to some therapists, and these tension release therapists is really great. And I'm almost back to full motion. I think I can swing a golf club in about 10 days.
So you've not been able to play golf. But what about the pain associated with this? Is it crazy pain?
Well, the pain was crazy only because the shoulder never really hurt, but the trauma to the muscles that hold it in and the ligaments snapping. So when I took deep breaths, it felt like somebody was stabbing me in the chest or in the back.
Because all of the muscles are guarding.
Locked
but
up.
Ligaments don't heal.
No, I asked about that. And I was like, well, where'd they go? And they said, well, they just snapped off and they're just hanging around in there.
The man's suffering from loose ligaments. Now, I understand you brought your x-rays. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you can look at it. Yeah, there it is. So usually that's all the way down and attached to that bone there.
Now,
but now it's just standing up.
Will it reattach?
No, it will not, never.
So you're going to be like this? You have the thing forever.
I have an ugly profile now.
Oh, well.
So now I have to put pads.
Yeah.
I'm either going to put a pad on this side to make it come up to this size to make me look equal.
Say goodbye to your movie career.
Well, all my love
we'd like to hire him, but he's got that thing.
Well, all my naked, topless nude scenes are done now. Yeah.
Mr. Jackson, what is that
Done
thing
doing
hopping
that.
up and down in your jacket?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You've been in like 100 movies. We talk about this all the time. 100 movies, that's a remarkable body of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and more Star Wars, or are we done with Star Wars?
I don't know. I was just, after I left Germany, I actually went to London to start another film. And I'm in the film with Mark Hamill. So I asked Mark if he'd heard from J.J. Abrams. He said, no.
Yeah.
So... And then all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, Ewan was there, and I spoke to him on the phone. I asked him if he was there doing Star Wars, and he goes, "No, they didn't call me." So I was thinking maybe all three of us could just get together and go over to the Star Wars set one day and just kind of stand around and see if maybe they could use some old Jedi.
Why don't you guys just do your own Star Wars?
Well, and then I heard on television that they were auditioning people for Star Wars, and I said, well, maybe we should just go to the audition and see if see if we can get a job.
Well, and what if you didn't get the job? That would be unpleasant for everybody, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much hinted to JJ that I wanted to be in the film at George Lucas's wedding, and he was kind of like,
Well, isn't that something?
That was about the most I got out of him.
But you're never home. You go from Germany to London to New York. I mean, do you ever get to spend any time at home?
Yeah, I'll be home. I guess the month of December.
That's nice.
And because I'm leaving here to go to Atlanta to start another film.
Now listen to what you're saying. That's just crazy. You take 1 month off and you go from film to film to film to film, and plus you got that thing in your.
Well, I mean, I love my job. I'm fortunate enough to be sort of in demand, and I get to choose some interesting things to do.
Right.
And hopefully that will.
What about
continue.
your family? Do they go to London and Germany and Atlanta with you?
Sure, if they want to. But my wife was doing a play here in New York when I left to go to Germany. My daughter was working on Top Chef at the time. Now she's doing a new show called Food Court Wars for the Food Network. So she's busy.
A chef herself?
Well, she's a chef, but she's also field producing all these chef shows.
Oh, well, that's great.
So she gets to do two of the things that she really likes to do, be around food and tell people what to do.
Yeah.
So.
and is she a good chef?
Yeah, great.
At what age, when she was a kid, did this sort of come to the fore as an interest for her?
I'm not sure. I think she watched her mom cook a lot in the kitchen, and her mom's a really great cook, and she never uses cookbooks or anything, so she was just trying to pick stuff up. And at a certain point, when she grew up, she started talking about being a food critic. And in order to figure out how to really talk about food in intelligent ways, she decided to go to cooking school.
Yeah.
And once she got to cooking school, she decided she didn't want to do that anymore, but she also didn't want to stand up in anybody's kitchen. And she got this other great job at ESPN for a while, producing and doing stuff. And now she just combined those two things.
That's fantastic.
It's great.
This is wonderful. Can she make brisket?
Yes, she can. Yes, she can.
That's exciting.
Yeah, she's a carnivore.
Yeah. Now, this is what I would like my son. Maybe he would go into this, so I don't have to worry about cooking or feeding myself anymore.
That would be great.
I'll pay the kid to cook for me.
Well, you got
wheel Dad in. It's time to eat. Now let's talk about Old Boy. This is one of those graphic novels. It is a re-version of an earlier film.
A
Korean film.
A Korean film 10 years ago.
And it's a very complicated story, isn't it?
Well, it could be complicated. The simplest way to explain it is there's a guy who gets drunk and kidnapped. And when he wakes up, he's in what he thinks is a hotel room, and he thought he'd been with someone, but he ends up in this room for the next 20 years, not knowing why he was picked up or why he was kidnapped or what he'd done. And then one day somebody just lets him out, and he goes about the business of trying to find out who kidnapped him and why.
Right. And you are the mastermind.
I'm the guy who runs the place that he's locked up in.
But it's not a real prison, is it? The whole thing is sort of a setup.
Well, yeah, it's a real place where people send people to be held for certain amounts of time.
Okay, sure.
But not just a legal it's not a legal jail. It's a
No, just for fun.
It's a revenge jail.
Yeah. It's an amateur
You know,
jail.
if you had somebody you really didn't like and you just wanted to get them out of your way for a month, we keep them.
That's right. Okay.
Or 20 years.
All right. Well, leave me your card.
All right.
Let's look at a clip. The film is Old Boy. Oh, Spike Lee.
Spike Lee
is your director here. It opens November 27th. Let's take a look. Watch. What are we going to see? Do you know?
This is when I go to, Josh Brolin is the guy.
Oh, he's good.
I go to his girlfriend's house because I've discovered where he's gone because he did something really nasty to me.
All right, let's take a look. Oh, you see what I'm saying? There you go. Happy holidays.
Yeah, got my nice Santa coat on.
Yeah, that's right. You can see it right after Thanksgiving, November 27th. The Old Boy. This is Samuel L. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Chris Matthews.